Hi, my name is Frank Pauline. I am a senior electrical engineer major at the University of Scranton, and I'm here to talk to you about my professional practice investigation on the topic of safety concerns in a factory automation uh, and how that affects personnel directly and indirectly, as well as labor relation problems and employee resistance to the automation. So one of the big things about factory automation is really getting safety as a priority. Um, so as newer and newer technologies come out, they're going to be able to improve a workplace environment if done correctly. Um, so one of the most popular devices that have been implemented in warehouses and factories in today, I guess the automated guided vehicle, which or AGV. Basically, it's a mobile robot that is capable of, for example, moving materials around a warehouse. This was something that could be done by humans using a forklift or other device like that, but now we have the ability to do it autonomously. Um, so there's different precautions when using a system such as this, having many fail safes and the ability to really protect not only the materials that it's carrying, but also employees that may have wandered off. So some of the techniques that AGVs use to search for or kind of be able to guide themselves, they use multiple different types of sensors. There's many different types, such as infrared, ultrasonic, and a touch sensor or a bump sensor. So the ultrasonic kind of works as a kind of like radar, how that kind of will bounce a signal back. Now the infrared has a emitter and a receiver. It will then calculate the time that it takes for the signal to be bounced back from an object, and from there we'll be able to determine the distance that an object is from the AGV. Now there's also a bump sensor, which that is kind of like a last failsafe for the device, as if it is going to be in physical contact with a person or an object, it does not want to keep trying to move forward. So some of the techniques that are used to really guide these AGVs, there's different techniques. One is a frequency select mode, which really it has a frequency that is sent across the floor. Well, it's underneath the floor, usually from wire, and basically instructions are going to be sent to each AGV depending on which frequency is set to that floor or set to that device. There's another mode which is called the path select mode. It basically uses programming to make all of its decisions. So it'll kind of have a central server in which it will receive instructions, and from those instructions it will be able to make the necessary movements. And then there's a third common mode that's used. It's a magnetic tape, which basically has a magnetic strip that's underneath the floor, and that will give each device the information that's needed to correctly navigate. So there's definitely multiple ways of knowing, where each or know where each device is. Now, what for that actually getting where each device is, a lot of AGVs use a method called the zone control method. It basically each device has a wireless transmitter, which will send a signal that contains some type of information, either some or when it is in a specific zone. So if it enters a zone, it will send a stop signal to other AGVs in the system, which really just says, okay, if you try to go into that zone, then you must stop. As they leave a zone, it will then send a signal back to some server that says, okay, this area is clear. So this method has its problems. For example, if a zone goes down, then another AGV might want to then enter that zone and potentially run into another AGV. This is where the collision avoidance hardware and I guess the software for it as well would really come into effect, to know where to go after it senses some type of obstacle, either find a workaround for it or send some type of information to a employee that would really say, okay, this device needs to be repaired. So as these devices get used more and more in factories and warehouses, they really pose a threat to the workforce in that factory. For example, if with the example of the AGVs, really that job can be done by someone with a forklift, but the issue there is that it can be a dangerous job, and it, I guess, for on the employer's side of it, they will need to take breaks. They will not be able to work continuously. So employers or factory owners are really looking towards automating these systems to kind of reduce the amount of downtime and really increase efficiency of a workplace. So as people start getting replaced by these robots or autonomous systems, it really poses a threat to their jobs. Essentially, the workplace will not be able to continue to employ them if they found a better and more efficient way of doing it. So this does leave some openings to new jobs in maintenance of the device or repair, but it really is taking its toll on where people are today. Now, some studies have even shown that within the next 20 years or so, about 47% of jobs will be taken by robots. Now, I'm not sure if I agree with this, but it is definitely stating that a lot of people that depend on these jobs may lose them, and we need to start thinking of ways where we can come up with new potential employment opportunities to really keep the U.S. going. So a lot of issues with resistance of employees are that they feel that they're going to be completely replaced. in which some cases they are. But the important thing here is to be able to find new employment opportunities and really broaden the horizons of one's skills. So thank you very much.